Happy Thursday to you. It is a gorgeous, bright Arizona morning. As I'm going around and starting the live stream on, so the theme of the meeting today, the discussion, is 3 ways to rock at your job as a junior network admin, or you could say 3 ways to get past a job as a junior network admin or advanced. You know, when I hear get past, I'm like, it's like people don't like it. I mean, I'm telling you, there's you could be the junior network admin for the rest of your life if you love what you're doing, and hey, that's great. Stay there. You know, if that's where you're at. So I'm giving people about 60 seconds to show up. Hello, Ohio, Gerald. It's funny. I was talking to somebody yesterday on a call, and they said, small talk as the calls get started. How's the weather out there in Arizona? And I'm like, it is so beautiful. Like half of the United States is frozen right now, and I in one sense I feel bad because I'm sitting here in Arizona, literally right now, thinking, do I need to take off my jacket? It's getting a little toasty, but talk to me in a couple months, right? That's where I'll be like, give me some break from this. So Kansas, hello to all of you out there, as we're waiting for everybody to arrive on the live stream. So let me get into it, and get into the topic. First off, by making sure you know, where do I get these topics from? You guys. So literally after doing a lot of these streams, I go back and I look at the comments that you guys are chatting in. Hello, Sudan. I look at them, as I'm saying, hello to Gerald right now. I read all of those things, and a lot of people ask questions that I either don't see because they're in little, if you stream from your phone, I get a little bubble for about 3 to 5 seconds, and then it fades away and disappears. So I don't see a lot of the comments, although I will say hello, Nigeria. I don't see a lot of the comments, and so I go back and review them, and I see a lot of people asking questions, and I'm like, that's a great topic. I would love to. I had somebody just the other day ask the question. I'm 47 years old. I'm diving in. I'm going all in IT. What would you suggest to get started? I'm like, that's a great question. For those starting later in life or making a career change, that's where I get these ideas from. So I think I also offer a unique perspective. A lot of folks from Africa. Hello, Africa. Must be hitting the time zone right for that. I think I also offer a unique perspective on some of these questions, because I come from not only the technology aspect, where I can talk to a lot of the tech, but about 11 years ago now, I started a managed service provider, MSP, that's now up to about 30 to 35 people, that does the stuff that I teach: network engineering, system administration, cloud admin. So I've seen a company grow, and I've seen employees grow, and I can tell you a lot of what's worked and what hasn't worked. So I think I bring kind of a unique perspective, and I also know a lot of folks from VIA and Serbia and all over the place are watching this. So it helps everybody, right? So thank you for your questions. Thank you for just hanging out with me. And I'm in a new place than where I normally walk. Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. We've got a couple of our team from VIA up there, and they are freezing as well. It's a wild ride in Texas. So I'm walking in a new location. So I've reached the end of a path, and I'm going to go a little horizontal here on my walk. So let me get into it. What are 3 ways that you can walk as a junior network administrator? And let me say, this is in some ways a continuation. Where I got this idea from is my last live stream was 4 ways to advance past the help desk. And the funny one is I saw 2 comments in that live stream where somebody, that's where I got the topic here. How do I advance past junior network admin? But I saw another one where someone was like, how do I even get on the help desk? Like how do I do that? Which again is all great ideas. So I'm going to assume if you're a junior network admin, actually, hang on. I saw the last, Vinoth, such a great, I just said, that didn't make my list. Way number 1, create a network diagram of the office network setup. And I will tell you, that is a great idea. So I'm gonna feather that into some of the discussion in just a moment. So way number 1, I'm gonna give you the most powerful one to start off with. And like I said, I'm going to preface this number 1 by saying I come at this from a unique perspective, because in one sense, I've never been a junior network admin. I know someone's like, oh, I've been a technology instructor. I've gone all the way with network engineering. I've done a ton of network engineering, but I've never been in that role. But I've seen people who have. I've had people work for me that have. So that's why I'm saying I'm coming at this from a little unique perspective. So a lot of what I'm saying is actually based around one of our team members at VIA that I have seen in the past probably 5 years grow so much. So I'm going to give you the profile so that you know where this person came from. Came into the organization from the military. Zero technology background. So a gamer, had aptitude, could, build computers, do a lot of the we'll call it A+ style thing, not because he was A+ certified, but just because that's what he did. He liked building his own computers and things like that. So I had kind of an aptitude, but zero network engineering experience and so on. So a lot of these tips come straight from what I've seen him do, which has skyrocketed him to such value for our company. So number 1, I know you're like, come on, get to it. Okay, here we go. Number one is shadow network engineers proactively. Shadow network engineers proactively. What I mean by that is the title that I was asked to talk about is a junior network admin. So I think, okay, you're at an organization where then there's probably a network admin, a non-junior network admin. Shadow them. Now let me explain what that means, because there's a wrong way to shadow people and there's a right way to shadow people. The right way is to find out what are some of the projects that they're working on. And remember, a lot of them will be at night. Network engineers are kind of creatures of the night, in the sense that we do things when people are sleeping, when people aren't using the network and things like that. So a lot of times you might just find out when that next project is and say, hey, would you mind if I shadow you? Would you mind if I hang out with you just to learn? Or is there anything that I could help with on this project? If nothing else, then let me just be there. That may mean that you're going to be somewhere that may not be the ideal place at 2 a.m, exhausted, but that's the job you signed up for. That is network engineering. So while you're shadowing them, ask smart and timely questions. I'm not saying there's, quote unquote, no dumb question, but when I mean that is, a lot of people like talking about what they know, right? But you have to know the right time to ask those questions. 1 a.m. in a data center and saying, hey, so explain these BGP attributes again to me. How does this work? The senior network admin is going to be like they don't want to be mean, but at the same time, it's 1 a.m. and you're like, you just asked a question that will unpack the universe. And they're going to be like, well, it's kind of, so what I mean by smart and timely is ask questions that are relevant to the topic. Don't be working on a BGP configuration, for example, with them, and then suddenly say, well, explain to me this whole RIP. I'm just pulling a topic up. Explain subnetting. Okay, let's ask something that's on topic, but also timely. Realizing where you are, just be like, hey, have this thought, but now may not be the right time, but I'd love to hear from you how this works, right? So the other thing is, as you're proactively shadowing, I chose that word for a reason, not just your ability to say, I want to go hang out with you at 2 a.m, but proactive meaning, let me look for things that I can help with. If you're just the guy or the gal who comes along with the senior network admin, and just kind of stands there, I mean, that's not how, look for things that you can do. I mean, if it's cabling, if it's, hey, let me just clean this up. Can I mean, something dumb, like, can I just, clean up these cables so it's a little, oh yeah, sure, go ahead and do that. Can I, I'm watching you. You mind if I see you're doing this? Can I do that on those 50 other switches that you have to, oh yeah, let me show you how to do that. Like, find ways to inject yourself that is helpful and may cost the senior network admin a little time. You might be like, hey, I've seen you do the same thing there. Is that something that I could do on every single one? They'd be like, no. Like, if you do this wrong, you're going to take down everybody. So let me do this one. Again, smart and timely question. Oh, I'm like, so explain, like, how could I take everybody down, right? So that's what I mean by that smart and timely question. Help them. Second thing. So that's my first one. Proactively, thank you, Al. Make yourself useful. Yes. Second one, which this goes a little, and I'm going to put the link in the YouTube description to the last live chat I had, which was 4 ways to move past the help desk. This number 2 I'm about to give you, I'm gonna preface it with something I said in that live stream, which is know yourself. If you move past junior network admin or the help desk or any position, by the way, these tips can apply to any technology position. If you're moving past those, you don't want to end up in a position where you're like, I hate this, I don't want to be here. And I said there's 2 major paths that you can usually go: the path of the technologist or the path of the manager. Know yourself. Start to learn, what are you drawn to? Are you drawn to growing others and seeing the system work? Or are you growing to, man, this is just cool. If I could just be left alone and tossed in the corner of the room and set this thing up, this would be awesome, right? So know that. Second thing, so then that leads me to this number 2. Number 2 is begin to teach others. Now, I know when I say teaching others, I know there's a lot of paradigms in that. And the paradigm that most people have when you hear teaching others is what I do. Let me create some training videos for you, or let me get in front of a classroom and do that, which terrifies a lot of people. Most people fear public speaking more than death. It tells you something, right? And so I'm not talking about that at all. When I say teaching others, what I mean is mentoring others that are around you. You're a junior network admin, right? That's the topic of this video. There's people on the help desk, I'm assuming, that can help out. And that are dying. I mean, that was the topic of last week. People are asking me, how do I get past the help desk? Well, some of those ways that I didn't talk about is maybe there's a guy or a gal who's a junior network admin that is working on a project and thinks to themselves, you know what? If I'm gonna move on, I can't keep doing all of this. My days are packed with XYZ, and so let me tell you, a lot of people, some people, see that as job security, as like, hey man, if I'm doing this work all day, every day, it's 60-hour weeks, I can't get past it, but this company needs me, so I'm kind of nervous. I don't want to teach other people. Because if they know that, then why does the company know me, right? I know that may be not something that you would say out loud, but I'm talking to that innermost being in you that is kind of like, okay, yeah, he's kind of right. So just recognize that, and recognize that you will not, you may be indispensable in that 60-hour week position doing all those things, but you won't grow past it. I don't want to sound just like, don't do that. But I'm just saying, finding comfort in I know how to do this is dangerous, because that's where you find yourself in 10 years still doing the same thing, or you find yourself being automated out of a job. If it's taking 60 hours a week to do whatever it is that you're doing in that junior network admin, that's a job ripe for automation because it's the same thing again and again and again, right? And that's one of the things that a lot of people are like, I hear crazy things. People are like, AI is going to replace all of IT people. I've heard people are crazy. But that being said, there is no replacing growth. So I'm back to my point number 2. Start taking your existing position. Can I say it a little clearer? Take your existing position and begin splicing it up into the individual things that are taking your time and keeping you from moving on, and teach others. You're hungry to advance, right? You're hungry to grow in that junior network admin to a senior network admin or whatever position you want to grow in. To do that, so let me tell you exactly what the fellow at VIA did. Just literally last month, he said, I'm overstretched. I'm covering all these different things. We're a smaller MSP, so there's more work than anybody can do. And he said, I've got 3 guys I'm going to start raising up. This guy, this guy, this guy. I'm going to assign them these projects. And by the way, delegating is not easy. Can I say that? Delegating is not easy. I mean, when people hear delegating, they're like, oh, you tell somebody what to do. Yeah, good luck with that, right? Good luck with that. Delegating is not easy, but that's what he's doing, is he's delegating the right way, where he's shadowing them. He's like, okay, tell me what you're going to do in this project. You know, as you're rounding out the cabling portion of our business, tell me what new standards are you creating? What, you know, so again, 3 projects, 3 people, he's raising them up, and he, in so doing, is freeing himself up to move further. So teaching others, I want to emphasize again, doesn't mean starting a class. It doesn't mean going on YouTube like I am right now. It means literally grabbing a guy, grabbing a gal, and imparting to them. A hungry guy, you can't lead a horse to water if they don't want to drink, right? But a hungry person, somebody that wants to grow, and doing that, help those get better around you. So much more I could say on that, but let me get to number 3, and then I'm just gonna. I've been watching the little comments tickering through, so I'll just open it up for any questions that you guys have. Number 3 is begin to start projects of your own as you see the needs emerging. And this is where it's in one sense, I will say this will show your organization, your manager, that you have the thought process to go beyond. Here's what I mean. You're a junior network admin. What are you doing? You're changing VLANs. You're modifying MAC addresses. You're handling port security outages where somebody plugs something into the wrong port. You're modifying SSIDs on a Wi-Fi access point. You're helping people with their pre-shared keys that are lost. You are troubleshooting. You know, hey, it seems like the Wi-Fi is weak in this area. Those kind of things are you know, and that I didn't have that list prepared. I'm just like, these are things that we run into all the time. That I would say that's typically a junior network admin. So moving beyond that means you start seeing those needs and thinking of your own projects to create a solution for it. You know what? We are always running into weak Wi-Fi areas in this company. There's got to be something that fixes that. You do some research, you find out there's 3 different products. One of them is free, but it's going to take you a ton of time to you know, kind of open source it together, if you will, and you're going to have to learn Linux a little bit. Number 2 is, you know, XYZ. Number 3 is, you know, the full-on site survey software. Let's just say you put some thought into it, and that's hard. That's hard. It feels like you're wasting time, but you put some thought into it and create a mini project. You start saying, hey, we're getting, you know, and I just came up with this example as I'm sitting here talking to you, right? We're getting weak Wi-Fi reports in all these areas, and you come to your manager, you're like, hey, I could open source something together. I could so again, what problem are you solving? You got to start there. No, don't just say, hey, this would be cool. Wouldn't it be cool if, you know, it's okay. There's a problem that we're solving. It's costing the company time. It's costing our customers money. I think I can fix that. And here's how. I've got 3 different ways. One of them is going to cost me a lot of time, open sourcing this thing together, but I think it'll work. Number 2 and 3, you know, and you lay that out, right? And you go to your manager and you're like, I've got this thing, right? And I think it can really solve a problem. And I saw somebody typing in, or network monitoring, or, actually, let me go on that side. Another gentleman at VIA moved into the NOC role recently, and he is literally revolutionizing our company. He's coming up with new ways of doing alarms. He's coming up with new responses, like new dependencies. We used to have, if the internet connection went down at one of our sites, we would see like 300 red sensors, and we're like, everybody panics, and they're like, oh, it's just blah, the internet connection's down. It's something dumb, but none of us wanted to invest the time to figure out dependencies, right? To where it's like, oh, if that is there, why don't we auto-acknowledge all of these other alarms? Which again, is a culture change, because people see one alarm, they're like, oh, it must not be a thing, not realizing that now our network our monitoring system is so much more effective and efficient. Why? Because somebody saw an issue and developed a mini project around doing it. By doing that, now I'm going to tell you, it's not going to be like, hey, I did a mini project, I revised our network monitoring system, or like Vinath said at the beginning, he said, create a network diagram for the company that you're at. Oftentimes, network diagrams are either non-existent, or they're something that somebody had a good intention on years ago and it's so out of date, right? So you're just like, hey, let me work on that, right? Those kind of things. It may be that you do that and people are like, oh, that's cool, and they move on, right? It's not a like, wow, I did that, and suddenly there was this amazing thing that happened to me, and now I'm, they've quadrupled my salary, and I'm in this new title. No, it's a journey, and anybody will tell you that. I don't need to go into that, right? That's the three ways, right? That's the three ways. And I'm saying junior network admin because that was the topic, but fill in your role. If you're in technology, those three ways will advance you no matter what position you're in. Fill in the title. If it has something with a plug, chances are good you're going to advance beyond that. Now, one thing that I want to mention that I didn't say. I wrote it on there. It's on my little list right here. See it up in the upper right corner? Number 4. And I almost didn't even list it. Study and learn certifications. Everybody's like, aren't you a certification instructor? Yeah, I teach people certifications all the time. But most of the time, certifications will get you in to an organization or help you move to a different organization, right? It wasn't the question. Somebody said, I'm a junior network admin. What do I do to move beyond where I'm at? The truth is, study and learning will absolutely, every single one of the things that I mentioned involved study and learning. But did you notice the slant? Study and learning to help the company. Certifications are kind of like college degrees in one sense. They will help an employer feel okay, like, okay, they're advancing. Now some employers will say, hey, go get your certification, because if you do X, Y, Z, you'll have, and that's great. And that employer is telling you that's what you need to advance. But oftentimes there's a gap. You'll have the certification or the college degree, and that knowledge is helpful. All knowledge is helpful, right? There's no knowledge that's not helpful. All knowledge is helpful. Put a little asterisk after that. All knowledge is helpful. But the fact is, a lot of times the certification isn't going to align to a current business need. You're a junior network admin. That's the point of this chat right now. You're in. You see the needs relevant to the company. Will a CCNP help with that? Maybe. But it's going to give you a lot of stuff that won't really help with that. Will a CCIE, will a fill in the certification help with that? It might give you a general, like, oh, I didn't even know what I didn't know kind of thing. But you're seeing needs that's like, we need this. I see there's a need there. Work on that. Figure that out. Like, start targeting your knowledge and your study on how you can solve that. The reason that's there is somebody hasn't, right? Somebody is and again, I saw somebody say some some employers require certification. Yeah, I mean, and that's why I said if your employer's like, go get certified, then do that. They're making that part of the job. But what I'm saying is, as a junior network admin, you're in. You see the direct needs of the company, and I can tell you from a guy who runs a company, I far more value somebody who's like, I see that's impacting our customer service, that is making our employees more inefficient, and I have solutions, and I can roll this out far more than I would if somebody came in and said, hey, I just got CCNP certified. And I know I don't hear that as like a knock on CCNP. CCNP is great, but if they said that, I'd be like, okay, great. How does that help us? Like, okay, so how are you going to use that knowledge to help what we're doing? And they might go, well, I don't know, and at that point, I'm like, okay, well that's great. That's great. Maybe you have better insight for the future, right? I'm about to start circling around saying the same thing. So that's it. That's the core of what I wanted to talk about. So I've got 5 minutes left. I try to make these about 30 minutes. Let me look at some of the questions. Sunriser, thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Happy to do it. Vinoth, learn to know the concepts, not to pass the certification. Once you've got the concept, the exam will be perfect. Yeah, yes, most of the time. Some exams are literally like, did you memorize the information exams? Those are kind of like, okay. But yes. Would you rather hire someone with 4 certifications or 1 college degree? Whew, FD, what a targeted question. Most of the time, so first off, know that is not a one, taking that one criteria, like, does that person with a college degree, is he an axe murderer too? Or is the person with 4 certifications, does she like have 0 work ethic? Like, you know what I mean? Like taking that one question in all of the things that I look at when I hire somebody, is difficult. But that being said, I would rather hire somebody with 4 certifications. Why? Because A, I know their knowledge is current, right? I know that they're keeping up on knowledge, because if their certifications expire every 2 or 3 years, you know, that tells me these are current. I've hired people with college degrees that I'm like, oh my gosh, like how? And let me also say, I've hired people with certifications that I'm like, oh my gosh. So know that that's why I'm saying it's not a one hit wonder, but in my experience, college degrees tend to get obsoleted. And that's, you know, a lot of people are like, I hate that certifications expire. As an employer, I love it, because I know that person is keeping up with the knowledge. So that's the best answer I could give. So do you have to be an expert at CCNA, says Megan? No. I'm not 100% sure of what you're asking. But CCNA is a great tip of the iceberg certification, where it teaches you a little about a lot of stuff, which is really good. So hopefully that helped. Let's see. Mohammed, I'm about to start a job as a network engineer for a hospital. Whew. Any special tips for working in a hospital network? That's ironic. One, on this YouTube channel, somebody from a hospital in California actually called us recently, asking us to do some network work, moving from Catalyst to Meraki. And anyway, and also one of the people that now works at VIA was a project manager at a hospital and did some amazing stuff there. So I have some perspective working at a hospital. My perspective has changed a little bit. I used to think that hospitals are like, this is amazing. Your network infrastructure at this hospital supports life. You know what I mean? Like, if your network goes down, people might die. And that used to be, but I have been really surprised as of late, going, wow, hospital. So I guess here's my only tip for you, Mohammed. Hospitals are just businesses too, and oftentimes do not put as much value and design and proactivity into your network as you may think, being that lives depend on it. So So keep that in mind as you join the hospitals. Don't just assume you're walking in to an environment that like nobody, like, oh my goodness, this is the best, most amazing network ever. I've been surprised in the sense that and it's not just the hospital that called us just a few weeks ago. It's since then I've opened the door and I'm like, wow, hospitals are focused on lives of people. Networking and system admin and everything else is like way down on their list of priorities. So oftentimes it doesn't get as much attention as I thought it would. Okay, man, I'm at 30 minutes. So many questions. Okay, Lucas, throw this out there. Cisco or AWS? That's loaded questions all over the place. I don't know. What do you like? There will always be jobs in Cisco. I know some people like network engineering, but I've been refuting that question. That question's debunked. How about that? I'll go political. That's been debunked. Network engineering is not going away at all. So what do you know more of? What do you get excited about? Easier. What's more fun for you? AWS is cool, but I love Cisco. There's no doubt. Okay, last question. Kevin, you're the last one in. So let me hit this. When you when you consider, it's fading away. When you consider someone, let me stop, growing from a junior to meteor and meteor to senior. I'm going to assume meteor means kind of middle. I don't use that word regularly. Is it certs alone that get you into the higher ranks? What do you look for as an employer at VIA? What do you look for? Really tough question, Kevin. I will say the number one, and this is going to sound funny, number one thing that we look for when we hire people and when we advance people is, do they fit our culture? That's it. All knowledge is now obviously there's some times where, like, hey, you applied for this accounting position. I'm assuming that you know what accounting is and what profit and loss statements are and what accounts receivable and payable are. And like I'm going to assume that you know some of these things. But the knowledge is most of the time assumed. If somebody walks in and applying for an accounting position, I'm using that just because, there's so many different technologies we could talk about. I'm going to assume they at least have a general idea about accounting. But the main thing that we hire for is, what kind of person are you? Maybe that should be another live stream. What kind of person should you be? And that's we've hired people that I'll just say we've hired people that have come in and within a few weeks we're like, wow. Like I'm noticing people avoiding them. Like people are walking on eggshells because if they say something, that person might just get offended. And I'm noticing like the culture of a company is everything. And that's why soft skills, I'm not going to say they're more important, but they're a big player versus the hard skills. Like, what do you know versus who you are, and how do you behave, and how do you treat people, and how do you communicate, and how do you explain something new? Like, so I know that's probably not the answer you were looking for, Kevin, but it's kind of that. I mean, that's how we hire people. Is are they a culture fit? Is the number one. It doesn't matter if they are the most amazing technologists and can do all this. I've had those people. I've had people that are freaking amazing at the technology, and after talking to them for a little while, I'm like, I can see challenges that, I'll just give you number one on my list is they're amazing and they know it. You know what I mean? Like they rock and they have an ego about them, and they would not like, hey, you know what? We need somebody to go clean up all of the documentation. I know that feels like it's below you, but can you do that? So okay, let me. I'm gonna throw this out there. I'm gonna throw this out there, knowing the challenge it may spark. And this is probably 3 or 4 years ago. at VIA. We were growing. We had maybe 15 to 20 people back then. And we had no janitorial staff. We had our office is about 7,000 square feet or so. Decent size, right? And we're like, okay, who's gonna clean things? Who's gonna clean the office? Who's gonna, and my thought is, why don't we all do it? Why don't we have a sign up list? It's 7,000 square feet with cubicles. It's not, and immediately people said, you mean like the bathroom too? I'm like, yeah, bathroom too. Like, grab some gloves. Hey, I'll sign up. Put me on the list. I'll come in, once a quarter. And bring my kids along. And we'll clean the office. And I'll say, it didn't fly. I had enough people at my office, or at least the group that I was talking to, was like, we can't do it. Like, and so for me, that's the person that I look for. I'm like, who's the guy or the gal that's like, you know what? That's what the company needs. Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah. Hey, we all need it. We don't have the budget right now to hire a janitorial staff. That's fine. I'll slap on some rubber gloves. I'll do it. Like that's my heart. Like that, and that's so. Oh man, Kevin, you launched me into something I wasn't even planning to talk about. Like, I'm like, I want people that are here so that we can do whatever it takes, knowing that I can't do it all, you can't do it all, but right now, hey, you know what? And so that's the culture that I look for. Is I'm like, I would much rather have somebody who's like, you know what? I am absolutely willing to do anything to as we team up and obviously ethics. Don't hear what I'm not saying, but that's what I mean. And a lot of times I find people with knowledge. It's a scripture. Knowledge puffs up, right? Knowledge puffs up egos. It puffs up, who people think they are, and that's anyway. I'm way off on the soapbox. I'm sorry, but Kevin, that's what I look for. Technology can be taught. Culture either exists or it doesn't, right? So that said, I'm talking long. Forgive me. 162 people. Thank you for jumping in, guys. I hugely appreciate you hanging out with me, chatting in, all that kind of stuff. I have a great time doing this. So see you next Thursday, right? All right, bye.